morning, everyone. I'm Heather Richmond. I'm a senior archivist at the State Historical Society of Missouri. Thanks so much for joining us today for this workshop on searching photographs, documents, maps, and more in the State Historical Society of Missouri's digitized collections. All events in our virtual programming series are made possible thanks to the generous support of the Society's members and donors. You can visit our website to learn more and see how you can add or renew your support. The digitized collections I'm going to talk about today include things like photos, documents, maps, oral histories. We also have art and editorial cartoons in these collections. The one thing I won't be covering is our digital newspaper collection. That's in a different software. For those interested in technical stuff, our digitized collections are housed in an external software system called Content DM. A lot of libraries and archives use this system for their digital collections, so you might encounter the same software online just as you're searching and doing your research. In Content DM, you can browse, you can do keyword searches, download images, and you can look at information about the items you're looking at, so copyright information, transcripts, and descriptions. To access our collections, you can go directly to our digital collections site at digital.shsmo.org, or you can access it from our website, which is shsmo.org. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to navigate to our digitized collections from our main website. So now I'm going to go to the web. I'm going to open our website. And here we are at shsmo.org. And to navigate to the digitized collections, you're going to go here to this little research tab and just hover over it, and then go to collections, hover over that, and then down to digital, which you can click on. And if we scroll down here, you'll see 3 digital collections. One is the digital newspapers. The second one is the digitized collections, and then we have the Born Digital Repository, which is materials that come to us in a digital format. So today I'm going to talk about the digitized collections. So I'm going to click on View Digitized Collections site. And here we are in our digitized collections website. The very first thing I want to show you on this website is our help page, because you might be doing some research a month from now and not quite remember some things I said about the advanced search or something else. And you can find information quickly if you just go to this little box here, click on it, and go to search tips. And you can see you have information about simple search, advanced search, searching within an item. A lot of the things I'm going to talk about today, information about it is available here. So I just wanted to make everyone aware of that. So now I'm just going to give you a quick tour of the digitized collections website. We have multiple collections that we call our digitized collections in here. And it's really a combination of topic and format based. So as you can see, we have a collection about the Civil War, but then we also have, for example, a map collection. We have a photograph collection. So it really is a mix. And we're constantly adding new materials and new collections to this website. One thing I want to note is because this is a combination of format and topic, say you're looking for photographs, sometimes it makes more sense to search across all the collections and then narrow it down to just photographs rather than going into the photograph collection and doing your search there. So I'm going to start by showing you how to do a basic search across all of the collections in our digitized collections website. So I'm going to do a search in this top box. So this is the basic search box right up here. And it appears on all the pages in Content DM in the digitized collections website. So say I'm doing a search and I want to find information about Fulton, Missouri, the town, right? A lot of researchers for different reasons are looking for location-specific information. So I'm just going to do a quick search for Fulton, and that's it. So I just typed that in, and here we have 857 results. That's quite a bit. And what that basic search did was it searched for anywhere in any collection that word shows up. So it could be a transcript where someone just mentions Fulton for some reason, or it could be a photograph, it could be anything. Now, a quick overview of what the results page is going to look like. We're still doing our tour here. Each result gets its own little box here. The title is up top, which you can click on to go look at it. So for example, in this case of the Joe D. Holt oral history interview, we also have a little bit of information presented so you can know if it's relevant. It shows the date. So this is the date the interview happened, is January 3rd, 1997. It shows the digital collection that it appears in. So this is in our oral history collection. And then it shows the description of the beginning of a description of the interview. And so each item is going to have that. Sometimes it has more or less information. For example, if there's an item where we don't know the date, that date might not show up in the date field there. So say we want to narrow these results. We don't want to look at all 857 results. And we really want to narrow it down. We can do that on the side over here. There are multiple places where you can do that. First of all, I want to show you, this is a list of all the collections on the website. And every collection that's checked is a collection that got searched in this search. You can see it's all of them in this case. Further down, we have our facets. And so these are kind of like if you're searching for shoes online on a website and you want to narrow it to your own size. So here, one thing I want to mention is this word coverage is a little confusing. What it means in the context of these collections is location. So as you can see, there's a lot of locations listed here. You can also narrow it by subject. You can narrow it by format. So this is where we would say, oh, we only want photographs, for example. And then the creator is like the author of the work. And relation is the original physical collection that this came out of. So you can narrow it by any of these, any multiple ones. In this case, let's narrow it to only items that are specifically related to Fulton. So I don't want things that just happen to mention it. I want items that someone has identified as being about Fulton specifically. So I'm going to click here to the Fulton, Missouri option, and then we've narrowed it down to 75 results. That's a lot easier to go through. Now I'm going to narrow it even further. Say we don't really want these Confederate home cards. Say I'm not interested in genealogy history relating to Fulton. We're doing some other research project about local history. I'm going to go to the collections here, and you see I open that up, and I'm going to uncheck genealogy and family history, and then I'm going to go down. This is the second step you have to do, where I click update. And that updated my results, and it removed those cards from the results. So now I'm going to show you, I'm just going to tour you around a single item photograph. We're going to look at this photo of the Winston Churchill and Harry Truman visit to Westminster College in 1946. Happened in Fulton. I just click on that title, and here we are at the image. First thing I want to show you is how to expand the image. Say you want to zoom way in and see who is there in this crowd. I click right here to this little square in the upper right-hand corner, and now you can zoom in pretty far, zoom back out. You can even rotate an image if you need to, if it's on its side or something, or has writing on multiple sides. And if I want to close it back out, I just click this little button here that says close, and I'm back here. The description of the image is down below it. So here we have the title, the description, the locations, the date. You have the name of the photographer, Gerald Massey, some subjects, and also copyright information. So it says if you use this image, you need to credit Gerald R. Massey. It also gives information about the original collection that it came from. The other thing I want to show you is over here in this corner, say you want to download this image. If you click right here, you have options to download a small, medium, or large version of this image. The large versions are they're pretty decent. They're pretty high resolution usually. You can also print it off if you want to. I'm going to click that and show you, here's a way to print it along with all of its information. Say you want to remember exactly where this came from and what it is. And a reminder, you don't always have to print something. If you go to the print option, you can also save to PDF. So if you want to save a PDF of this with its information, that's an option too. And I'll show you more on that later. Now I'm going to show you the advanced search. So that was just the basic search. We were searching across all the collections just with one word. Say you want just specific dates. I'm going to go to the advanced search option. And one thing about the advanced search is it always selects all collections. No matter where you are in the website, the advanced search is always going to default to searching all collections. So that's something to keep in mind if you only want to search one collection or certain ones. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and do what I did before, and I'm going to uncheck the genealogy and family history collection. And then there's always a second step here, which is saving it. So now it's saved. Now down here is where you're going to enter your search terms, and you can enter more than one. You can add multiple rows here if you have multiple configurations of search terms that you want to add. In this case, we're not going to be too complicated, but I am going to search a specific field. So when you do a basic search, it's searching across everything, right? It's the descriptions, the transcripts, the titles, everything. In this case, I only want to search that coverage field, right? Which is another word for location. So I'm going to search this coverage field only, and I'm going to search again for Fulton. But I remember that the way that that was phrased in my basic search was there was Fulton Mo. So I'm going to put that in here like that. Just because I know that. And I don't want to search all the words. That's the default. So you can change this to any of the words, an exact phrase. You can even exclude words. In this case, I'm going to use the exact phrase of Fulton Mo. So that's kind of the same as putting quotes around it in Google. Now, say there was something I wanted to exclude. There is no not option here. It's just and or. So you would put in whatever word you wanted to exclude and then none of the words. So it would be and whatever you wanted to exclude, none of the words. So that's a little counterintuitive if you've ever used, library databases or something. This is a little different from that. Now I want to put my date in. Say I want only materials from Fulton from before 1900. I can do that here. You can do a date range. You can put in, between two dates. Right here, I'm going to say before. And I'm just going to type in 1900. If you want to put in more specific details like June 1900, it would be 1900-06. But here I'm just going to put 1900 and I'm going to click search. And here we have our results. Now I'm going to take a look at the Payne-Broadwell family papers here. Take a look. I'm going to show you what a multi-page item looks like. The last thing we looked at was a photograph. It was just one page. Here is something with many pages. I clicked on that. Now, as you can see, these are a lot of letters, things like that. The different pages are on the side here, and they are within, in this case, they are within little headings that you can pop open. So each letter is described, and you can go to it and look at the different pages. So you get to the actual pages by popping open the small description there. I want to show you too here in the internal search for this item. It replicates the search we did across the website, but sometimes that doesn't work very well as an internal search. For example, this date is not going to mean very much within this item. The searches work kind of differently from each other. So it often helps to alter your search once you get inside an item and you want to find where a word appears within that item. So I just deleted everything except the word Fulton. So now I'm just doing a keyword search for Fulton within this item, and I'm going to click search. And it brought me to the first occurrence of Fulton. And if I want to see where that was, I'm going to scroll down to the red highlighted pages. So it looks like it's within a letter from J.H. White to M.U. Payne. And if I scroll down and look at the description of this item, I want to show you too, this is the description of the entire object. So the whole set of letters is described up above, and then the specific page description is below that. And that's the case for all multi-page items. So here's where Fulton appears. It's listed as the geographic coverage or the location for the specific letter. So I'm going to take a look like, oh, okay, so this letter must be written from Fulton. I'm going to go to this next page here, which you can click this next, or I can go to page 2. And oh, here it says Fulton in cursive, December 6th, 1861. So this is indeed a letter written from Fulton. And you can see most of our items, most of our handwritten items have transcripts included, thanks to our wonderful transcription volunteers. So you can actually read the transcript of this without having to try to decipher the handwriting. And here we see this is a letter to Mr. Payne, dear brother. So I'm going to show you how to go to the next instance where the word Fulton appears in this item. So you don't always have to just scroll down to the next place where you see some red highlighting, because sometimes that can take a while. In this case, I'm just going to go to this transcript field, and I'm going to click the little next button, and I'm going to keep going. And here's the next one on a different letter. And it looks like they're just mentioning Fulton. It looks like this Reverend SSL is a prisoner in Fulton. So this must be during the Civil War. So that's how you look at the multi-page items in this software. Now I want to show you a little more information about some newer collections that we've digitized. And while I do so, I'm going to show you some more features of the software. So anytime you're anywhere in the website, you can click on this on our logo here or on digitized collections here, and that takes you home. You can also do so here. You can see you have little breadcrumbs. You can go back to the American Civil War in Missouri page, but I'm going to go all the way home here. So here we are back at the main page where it lists all the different collections. And if you do want to search within a collection, you can do so. You can do a basic search if you go into that collection and then do the basic search. So I'm going to show you in our travel and description collection a little bit of new materials that we've digitized recently, mostly postcards relating to Route 66. So we have the Route 66 anniversary coming up. And so we've been doing a lot to celebrate that. So here's our travel and description collection. I'm going to click on it and scroll down, and all of our individual collections have a little information about the collection. In this case, we actually have a link to our Route 66 Centennial website, which has a lot more information about the history of Route 66 in Missouri. I encourage you to check that out. You can do a search up top for items within just this collection, this travel collection. You can browse every single item in the collection by clicking this button. And then we have some sort of pre-prepared searches as links down below the browse button. So I am going to go ahead and click Route 66 to take a look. And here we have many postcards relating to Route 66. While we're in these results, I'm going to show you a couple of ways to change your result viewing options. So the default for viewing your results is that you view 20 results per page. So, you're scrolling down and you'll see 20 items, and then you have to go to the next page. Now, if you don't want to have to keep clicking from page to page, you want to scroll quickly, you can increase the number of results per page. Say I can go ahead and change that to 50. I can also change how I view it from these. The default is having all the information about the items with the thumbnails. You can view just the thumbnails if you want to with the titles. If you want to quickly just browse pictures, you're looking for a specific type of image. And you can sort it differently too. The default sort is for relevance to the whatever keyword you've searched on. But here you'll see I can change that to location, for example. And the first couple items aren't going to have specific locations, but then we're going to go into here. It's put together everything from Arlington. That's the first location that's showing up. So you can see you can kind of play around a little bit with your search results to get it how you want it. Now I'm going to show you how to add collections. So this, like I said, this is searched only the travel and description collection. You can see that over here on the side under collections, and say I want to see what else we have on Route 66. I've mentioned that because we have a combination of topic and format, sometimes items on your topic might show up in multiple collections. So I'm going to select all collections here and click Update. And now here's everything we have relating to Route 66. And I'm actually going to take out I don't actually want the Missouri Historical Review. I'm looking for original items, not articles. Missouri Historical Review is our scholarly publication, and it's been digitized in here up until the past year. So the only issues that are not available are the ones that were published within the last year. So I'm going to uncheck Missouri Historical Review, click Update. Now we have 589, so this is more results. And you can see some things are showing up in the photograph collection in addition to the travel and description collection. And I want to show you really quick. So a lot of these cool Route 66 postcards came from a collection that we've been digitizing. We're still adding to. It's the John Bradbury postcard collection. He collected a lot of photo postcards from Southern Missouri. And if I click on the name of that collection, you'll see we have over 3,000 postcards at this point. So we just have postcards, and we have other postcard collections online too. So that's just a really kind of fun new addition that we have online. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to show you another new addition, a couple more actually, to our collections. In our map collection, we just added these highway maps, and they're county highway maps that were published by the state from throughout the 20th century. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look at the Callaway County search results for these highway maps. And you can see we have general highway maps from Callaway County starting in 1920 and going to the 1990s. And, when I first was thinking we would digitize these, I thought, oh, highway maps, that's, a little boring. But these maps are special. I want to show them to you because I think they can really help people out with their historical research. These maps, I'm going to expand it and I'm going to zoom in. You have to zoom way in, but look at this legend. This map shows everything in the county. It doesn't just show roads and railways and streams and things. It shows residences, hospitals, hotels, churches, schools. Just all these little tiny symbols are all over this map. So you can see all these little dots are residences. So this is actually very useful, especially if you're looking, I think if you get into a city, it doesn't show all the details. But if you're looking at rural areas, these maps really give a good history of these counties in the 20th century and how they developed. So I just want to make everyone aware of this wonderful new addition. So now I want to talk about one other new addition. If anybody's interested in 20th century literature, we have just digitized our American Audio Prose Library collection. Not all of it due to copyright issues, but a lot of it. We have these wonderful interviews with 20th century authors conducted by Kay Benetti Callison in the 80s and 90s. So for example, here's an interview with Annie Dillard from 1989. And these interviews, they're often broken up into multiple parts. So you have to, be on part one, and then you just hit play and you can listen to it. And part two, same thing. So I just wanted to make folks aware of these because they're just such a wonderful resource. It's really a wonderful thing to have. And one more new project that we've been doing is kind of new and old at the same time. Our American Civil War in Missouri digital collection was actually one of the first digital collections. I think it was the first digital collection that we created in this software. And so it's always had just lots of wonderful letters and diaries and other materials related to the Civil War. But there were always some items that we had physically that were missing. And so we are adding those items to this. So we are adding to our American Civil War in Missouri digital collection, especially items that were heavily used are getting added first. So I just wanted to make folks aware of that. And I'm going to give you an example of how to search within a single collection using the American Civil War in Missouri digital collection. So I'm just going to do a basic search within this collection. Now, remember, when you're looking at the collection's main page, your basic search is going to search just that collection. But if you go to advanced search, it's going to end up defaulting to all the collections again. So remember that you'll have to change your search default if you go to the advanced search from here. But from here, I'm going to go ahead and do a basic search. I'm going to look for the Battle of Westport. See what comes up. And so here we have a few results. Say I want to narrow it down. We have different formats listed here. I can narrow it to diaries and journals. And here we have two results of diaries that mention the Battle of Westport in some way. And so I'm going to go ahead and look at the Francis Gordon diaries. And here again is an example of needing to change the search within this record. So I'm going to delete diaries and journals and Battle of and just search for Westport. So I want to look for when this guy mentions Westport, because I figure he's not calling it the Battle of Westport yet, especially if it hasn't happened yet, right? Like if he's on his way to the Battle of Westport, He's not going to call it that. So that is one thing you're thinking about when you're searching in original materials like this that are from a long time ago. You're searching often, if you're searching within the transcript anyway, you're looking at words that they would have used at the time for your search terms. So let's see what we have. This is the first result for Westport, and I'm looking in the transcript. And he's talking about on the road going to Westport, and he's actually talking about the German Turner Club doing some gymnastics. So this is not a real hit. That's not about the Battle of Westport. So I'm going to do what I mentioned here. I'm going to go to the next place that Westport appears, and it's taken me to another page in the diary just to show you. It's quite a ways down, I think, but it was nice to be able to just go directly there. Now here we have where he's saying he had lost the fort and was falling back on Westport. We leave at full gallop to Westport, form our line of battle and rest as best we can until morning. And then there's a couple of illegible words. That definitely happens when people are transcribing. Oh, but it looks like it's the 23rd, which was the day of the Battle of Westport. So he actually has a description here of the Battle of Westport. So bingo, we found what we were looking for. And we can go, you'll see Westport's mentioned here, but the description goes on. So if you want to read more, you'll go to the next page using this navigation. And then we're at page 111, and we can read more down here on the transcript. Or if you want to challenge yourself, you can try to read the handwriting. So, one thing I want to show you while we're here is this back to results that you can click on. And that just gets you back to your original search out of the item that you clicked on. So if you're doing a search and you're going in and out of items, that back to results really works well. The very last thing I want to show you before I open it up for questions, because last time I did this, there were a lot of questions. I want to show you a PDF in this software because those function a little differently. We were looking at the multi-page items, how you could navigate on the side, and it showed the pages on the side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If something is a PDF and not these individual, these are JPEGs, for anyone who's interested, it's a combined item. So I'm just going to show you an example. Most of the PDFs on this website are in our oral history collection. So mostly that's where you're going to encounter them. And this oral history collection is great. We have a lot of our politics in Missouri oral history collection is in here. And then we also have the Marshall Dial oral history and some other interviews. This is a good resource for just learning about people's memories of Missouri. I'm going to browse the oral history collection, and now you're going to see if it has just this little book showing, that means it is just the transcript and not the audio interview. That's because there are some copyright issues with some of these where we can't put the audio online, but we can put the transcript online. And there are also a few where it's the reverse, where it's just audio and we don't have a transcript yet. But I'm going to show you an example of one where we have both. So this is an interview where we have multiple audio files. And so you see the thing on the side here, we have the transcription, and then the different pages are just the transcription and then the audio files. Well, where's the different pages of the transcription, right? What you have to do is use this little expand arrow and pop out the image. And then you'll see the whole PDF, and you can see how it functions just like a regular PDF from here. And you can do searches within it. So the search feature will search within the PDFs, but then you have to redo the search once you've opened this up. So you can just go to find in document and type whatever you want. Yeah, you can see where it just shows up. And from here, you'll also have, it has its own print and download features that you can use. So I just wanted to show you this because it's a bit of an anomaly and can be confusing for folks who have already been using our digital collections with the multi-page feature on the side. So that's how you use, anytime something looks confusing, like it should have multiple pages, but it doesn't, just pop it out and see if it's a PDF. And that's definitely the case in the oral history collection. And so I'm going to open it up for questions now.
Sue started off. She wants to know where is the best place to find information on the Osage Indian in Missouri?
Oh, yeah, that's a really good question because that's a word, right? Osage, you search that and it's going to bring up Osage County, Osage River. And we do have probably the art collection, to be honest, has the most information about Native Americans. Here, let's just do a quick search. But our art collection has, yeah, you can see our art collection has a lot of drawings. They have both from across the United States and just from Missouri, paintings and drawings of Native Americans. So we have George Caitlin's North American Indian portfolio that's been digitized. We also have, let me see if yeah, in here in this handy coverage feature, you can narrow it down to Missouri. And we have a lot of materials here. Looks like a lot of it has to do with histories written, but you can also then narrow it to, if you want to, let's see. Well, looks like that didn't. Yeah, I would go to the art collection. I
Uh,
think that's probably the best. And the other thing is I should mention the westward expansion of the United States collection has the most primary source material in terms of it's, not going to be materials generated by Native American tribes, but it's going to be European Americans talking about encounters with Native Americans. There's quite a bit of that in the westward expansion.
Great. Dana asked, is there artifact only stored under one, or is each artifact only stored under one collection? For example, are all photographs under the photograph collection, but not under Civil War, for example?
Yeah, that's a great question. So unfortunately, like every software, the Content DM software has some limitations, and this is one of its limitations that you cannot have an item in more than one collection. So for example, yeah, it would be great to have photos from World War II in the photo collection and the World War II collection, but we have to pick, which is why I kind of recommend just searching across all the collections and then narrowing it to photographs in that facets box on the side there once you get your results, because yeah, we have to sort of choose which collection it's going to go in, and often things are relevant to more than one. So yeah, that was a great question. Thanks.
Sue asked, are there interviews with Laura Ingalls? I do know we have some of her first edition books in our collection, but I'm not sure about any interviews. Do you know if we have that, Heather?
No, we don't. Yeah, I don't think we have anything, honestly. Right, except for some books, but in
And
the
she
online
signed some of those
collections.
books too to us.
Yeah,
I know that.
yeah, yeah.
Probably the Wilders Museum in Mansfield. That
Mhm.
would probably be a good place to go for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Within art, do you include monuments, or are monuments, especially those that relate to sculpture 3D forms of individual, found as images, drawings, or photographs? Or what other advice do you have?
Yeah, pretty much our art collection online is going to be paintings and drawings. We don't really have photographs of monuments in the digital art collections. Yeah, I mean, I know we do have some sculpture in our art gallery here on site in Columbia. But no, it's pretty much paintings, drawings, woodcuts, like this one on the front. Yeah, more two-dimensional.
Right, what's online, but we do have them in our collection. We have some
Yes.
nice sculptures.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, in fact, the one of Senator Thomas Hart Benton that came from the U.S.
Mhm.
Capitol when they replaced President Truman in the rotunda. Then they brought in they had a place to go for the senator, and he came to our location here in Columbia a couple years ago. So
Yeah.
you can see his statue in our art gallery,
Yeah.
overlooking his great nephew's artwork, Thomas Hart Benton. So Lisa asked, can you see Missouri birth death certificates on your website?
Those would be the Missouri State Archives has those on their website. So if you go to Missouri Digital Heritage, that is where I think the death certificates I think are after post 1910. Most of them, there's a few from before 1910, and then they have some birth certificates as well. But yeah, that's all maintained by the Missouri State Archives, which is a separate organization from us.
And Stephen would like to see if you could review the process of filtering out extraneous results. Very often when he goes
Mm-hmm.
online, his searches yield multiple Missouri Historical Review, TWA
Mm-hmm.
results. How can he keep those sources out of his results?
Yeah, so let me just do a quick search here. I'll go to the main page, which is where, again, you search um, across collections. And I'll just do a search for, I'll do the Fulton search again. And again, yes, the Missouri Historical Review can dominate search results. I'm not going to lie about that. So if you're looking for primary sources only, a quick way is to go to this collections drop down and then just uncheck Missouri Historical Review and then hit update. And then that'll exclude that. And you can do that with as many or as few as you want to. So, you can uncheck all of them and then, decide you only want, a couple. Um, Say I only want the map collection and the photograph collection and hit update. And then and so that'll exclude it for that. And then again, you can narrow things down further with these facets on the side where, for example, Fulton, Missouri is the sort of main topic. So if I click on that, it'll exclude things that just happen to mention Fulton, and it'll have things that are very specific to Fulton, things, photographs taken in Fulton, maps of Fulton, that sort of thing. So really once you get your result, using those side features is the best way. And definitely with the collections, and sometimes it's hard to know exactly what collection, oh, I'm getting all these results. Say earlier when I was looking at the Confederate home cards, it's like, oh, I don't want to look at those, but what collection are they in? It's always going to say this third line, or sometimes it's the first if there's no date. Under the title is going to say what collection something's in, so you can get a sense of, is this a collection I want to be including in my search or not? And then you can go over to the side and eliminate it if you want to.
Amy is asking if we at all work with Clio.com.
We have not before. I know Clio is a great resource, and I think it's definitely something we've thought about. Yeah, because I know yeah, they do great things with location, having location specific history and creating, sort of integrating information. Yeah, that would be that would be a goal probably. We do use story maps on our website. We have a couple of those, including for the Route 66 celebration on our Route 66 website.
Jim has downloaded some of our maps, and they said
Mm.
they don't always appear clear.
Hmm.
Should they be legible if they're downloaded?
Um, yeah, it depends because sometimes maps are a very tiny print. One thing to make sure of when you're downloading is, so here's a map collection. I'll just take a look at something. So when you're downloading, make sure that you're going to the largest option here. That's the main thing. And if you do that and it still isn't a good resolution, you can contact us. We'll provide high resolution images for a fee of $20. So we can provide high resolution TIFFs that are often better. Like I said, that fee is $20, and you can contact us at research@shsmo.org.
Does our website show any U.S. census data?
It does not. Yeah, we don't have that. That would be, so ancestry.com has the census records, which I know is a, fee-based resource. You can come into any one of our research centers, and we have access to ancestry.com on our reference computers. And a lot of public libraries also have it as well.
Martina asked if you could recommend the best way to find old photos of relatives. Is it just to search by last name, location?
Yeah, I would say last name. Yeah, I would start with last names and then narrow it to photographs, and maybe location. But yeah, I would start with the last name and then go to location, and then go to photographs under format. And then if you don't find anything, again, this is a tiny, tiny fraction of what we have in our whole collection, right? Because it takes a lot of work to digitize materials. And so I always encourage you to contact us. Again, that reference at shsmo.org. You can always ask, and we'll look up in some of our internal databases if we have anything.
Yeah. What are the copyright rules for postcards and photos?
Oh, so those, it depends. So there are, and we have copyright information on all of our materials. So let me get this refresh. So I'll just go to our photo collection. It depends on the person who took the photograph. If we know who that person was, um, it's probably they probably or their descendants own copyright until I think it's 70 years after death. It's a long time if it hasn't been published. If it's been published, so for example, a postcard, that is, I think, 1926 and earlier is in the public domain. And we do have materials online that are under copyright that we've either digitized because we have permission, or that we've digitized under fair use. But you can always contact us and ask us if you need to use something.
So Richard is asking how he can determine the property given and sold to community. Um, and if you have an idea of where those might be located.
Um, Determine the property. I guess like what we have in our collections.
He didn't say that in particular, but he did say that his family is in Thayer, Missouri. They were farmers, and the city
Oh,
of Thayer has areas labeled Piland Edition 1 and Piland Edition
yes.
2. So
Yes, okay. So yeah, property records. So that Plat maps, I didn't go into the plat maps, but we do have plat maps, which are a great land ownership history. It doesn't show exactly, information about sales. It just shows who owned material yeah, here they are, plat maps of Missouri. So it just shows who owned property at different times. So we do have these earlier plat maps that you can always look at to see what names were on the land. And then from there, it would just be like a recorder of deeds. And sometimes, again, the state archives can have information about that.
Yes. Also, let's see, Amy asked if there is somebody that wants to add more pictures or donate them to our collection. Where do they send them? How do they do that?
Oh, yeah. So if you would like to donate, and it's never a guarantee if you donate to us, it's never a guarantee that it's going to end up in the digital collections, just it's a caveat. But if you are interested in donating any family materials or, organizational records, you can always go to under support on our main page and donate a collection. And then you click on donate a collection again. And there's a form here to fill out where you can put in all of your information and specify what it is so that it gets to the right department. And then you talk about what you've got. And that way we will contact you to have a longer conversation about what it is that you're interested in donating and that sort of thing. Yeah. So yeah, thank you. That's a wonderful question. We're always interested in getting more donations.
And we sure appreciate it because people love the
Mhm.
photos. We get requests all
Absolutely.
the time from that. So, and along the same lines, Linda was asking if you see a photo on our website and you know it is incorrectly identified, um, who do you contact for a revision?
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Well, you can contact me directly at my email address because I am the one that changes it. But you can also just go to our research, again, our research email, research at shsmo.org. And yeah, please, we always welcome corrections. We usually try to ask for a little bit of evidence, but yeah, we know there are errors out there, made when the photos were initially, and sometimes even the people who took the photograph, identifies things wrong. So yeah, we always appreciate extra information.
And Rachel is asking if you have any recommendation for advanced search on the 1868 Peace Commission proceedings. That proceeding occurred in 1867.
Oh, okay. So, well, we can just give it a try. Um, and this is a situation where, if you're looking for something um, later about the proceedings, or if you're looking for the proceedings themselves, the date you enter is going to vary depending on that. Um, what was that? The 1868?
1868 Peace Commission proceedings.
Okay.
Commission, yeah.
Okay. So, oops, wait a minute. I was going to do Peace Commission, all fields, but exact phrase for Peace
Mhm.
Commission. There we go. And it looks like it comes up in the Missouri Historical Review. And you'll see that I didn't type every word, right, for, 1868 Peace Commission proceedings because people might word it differently than that. And so I'm trying to get to some sort of core words. And here it does look like it's more written about this Royal D.M. Bowers diary. Not sure.
Well, the Missouri Historical Review, there would be a table of contents. You can go in. It's a
Yes,
PDF, so you
yes.
could go in and look at the table of contents for that and see
Yeah,
where
exactly.
it would
Yeah, and
populate.
yeah, and so here's something this is not relevant, looks like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would from here I would just look in the Missouri Historical Review and see if it shows up. Yeah, as Beth mentioned, there are headings that tell the titles of the articles. So for example, here, this is just one page in a larger article, and it's probably, I'm guessing it's not relevant. So I would just kind of go through and check those reviews and see if there's anything specific to that topic. And then honestly, I'd just follow the citations from there, see how they cite it, see where they got their information for the article. One thing I should mention about these reviews is they go back to, all the way to like 1906, I think. So every once in a while, you'll get an article that it sounds a little funny to us today because it's a historical article written, in 1910 or something. And so they just might phrase things a little differently, or, sometimes things have been disproven since then. But overall, it's a very good resource.
Well, we are out of questions. Just a final comment from Kimberly, just thanking you for it. Great information. And I think everybody can agree. We packed a lot in there, and appreciate the time and patience and answering everybody's questions too, Heather, as you help us work through all of this. We are about out of time right now, so we're going to go ahead and close it up. Thanks again. Appreciate everyone being here, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks everyone.